I've done 5 videos, and now I'm going to do the 6th video on this zombie clown of my granddaughter. The reason I'm doing another video is because I'm going to put some colored pencils in there. So it's not a lot. I'm really pretty pleased with the way this has turned out, but I'm just going to do a little bit of detail on her face, and some of the hair I'm going to just sharpen. It is watercolor, so it's meant to be loose, but I think I can add a little more details to make it just really pop. So that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is around her eyes. I wasn't real pleased with the, I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. I wasn't real pleased with how I couldn't get the real sharp detail like I do with my colored pencils. So now I'm going to use some wax colored pencils. This is 90% cool gray on the watercolor. My mind's a blank because it's cut off here. It's not watercolor. It's Prismacolor. Prismacolor. So it's Prismacolor, and it's wax based. That way, if I did one that's really soft pastels, which I love doing those, it's a little too soft with this watercolor. So a wax pencil is kind of best for that. So this is 90% gray. It's almost black, but it's not. So what I want to do is darken some of this right above her eye, because it wasn't quite dark enough. I wanted it a lot darker. So I'm just going to lightly color in there. In fact, I think I want a sharper pencil. Okay. That'll just make it look really extra nice. Because watercolor is great, but sometimes it can't quite get in the detail that I want. So I just add a little bit of pencil. So it looks like there's a little bit of gray up here. Also, I think I can darken this right in here. I don't want it too dark, but enough that there's a kind of a line there. I'm also going to darken a little bit under her eye, because I think it would look better being a little bit darker in some of the areas. Make her really look like a zombie. It'll make that pink stand out more. It's not a solid gray, so I'm trying to leave some of the light underneath it. Okay, and I think it's kind of darker under her eyelid. You still can see it, but it's a little bit darker. I'm going to shade that in. Shade this one, because this is a lot darker here. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Just get some more, a little bit of darker gray in here. And it looks kind of rough, but I'm going to use another pencil to really smooth it out in a minute. And this should be super dark on this side of this green, which it wasn't. It was just kind of a light gray. Okay. And then here on her eye, this didn't really come out, and I wanted it to. More like that. We'll add some darker here. Under this eye, kind of a gray line, real light here. And then this needs to be a little bit darker here on this side too. I'm liking it a lot better with this being darker. I think some people could do a darker area with their watercolor, and I could too, but I think I just feel more comfortable coming back a little bit of details. That's why I love mixed media, because you can just make whatever changes. And I've been doing colored pencils almost 20 years now, so I feel pretty good about how that turns out. I like the effect it has. Now these are not watercolor pencils, so I'm not coming back and adding water. I'm going to use a blending a blending pencil in a minute to make it really smooth looking, because right now it almost looks like crayon. You can see the texture, the paper underneath. And since it's her skin, I want it to be pretty smooth. So I'm probably gonna go back and blend that in. I wanted a little darker here on her cheek. So I'm gonna add a little bit of gray here. Just a little bit. And here. And this side too, I'm gonna do a little bit of shadowing here. Her face was just so washed out. I mean, it is white makeup, so it would be washed out, but there's still shadows and highlights. So I need to kind of show those off, make it more clear. I'm going to do a little bit darker under here. There's some shadow under here that from her nose that didn't really show up. Let's see what else. I'm going to actually turn on this overhead light, because even though it looks good here, it's hard for me to see the real close details. So I'm going to pause it right here and turn on the overhead, and hopefully it doesn't do too much glare on this. Okay, I'm back. I'm now going to use this kind of a medium gray. It's from Faber-Castell Polychromo, and the number is, let's see, it is Cold Gray 3-232. So that's what I'm going to use under here. Basically what I'm doing is I'm doing it so the dark will blend in with this. This is almost the same color that she already is, but I'm doing it so there's a few layers here, so it just blends in more nicely and looks smooth. You don't see the bumpy lines that the dark pencil made. Make it more like it's her skin that's being blended. I'm bringing the gray all the way up here because it is a little darker there, just a little bit. Same thing here. I'm gonna go over that dark I just did. I don't want to lighten the dark. I just want it kind of blended together. And this gray kind of comes up here. You can tell I'm kind of getting rid of some of those bumpy black edges. Oh, I just bumped the camera again with my head. It's hard for me to get in here and see it without hitting that camera. Okay. I'm a lot happier with that eye. I just want it really dark because she does look really dark here from the dark makeup her mom put on her. And then that needs to be darker. That needs to be gray. That's not white. I'm gonna darken this in a little too. These kind of gray lines that made her look angry and dead. So I'm gonna shade that in a little bit. There. And I'm gonna color in here. And on this side. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of making it look a little bit smoother. It's not quite smooth, but that's okay. I have a blending pencil that I'll use later. And see, this lid looks way too light, so I'm putting gray on that. Okay. Now, I'm going to sharpen this pencil. And I'm going to do the same thing with gray down here. Just add a little bit on top of that dark. And then some of the skin that I didn't paint enough of the gray on. So it's kind of gray all down here. Okay, same thing over here on this cheek. And put some more gray on it. That's really dark, but when I blend it, I think it'll look softer. Okay, let's put some gray here. All right, now her cheeks are they're kind of gray down here. They're not white. So I'm gonna bring this gray down here. And a little bit of gray here. And a little bit of lighter gray here. Her chin definitely needs more shadowing here. So it doesn't look very three-dimensional down here if you don't have any shading on this. And it's round. She's got a round, little, sweet little chin. A little bit lighter toward the center. And gray there. Same thing with, so I'm going to balance it out. I'm going to put this gray. Because really her chin down here is all in shade. And it looks just stark white. I don't want it stark white. I want it gray. And her nose is a little bit defined here. Comes up a little bit more to show that's her real nose, not the red paint on it. Believe it or not, she doesn't have a big red shiny nose. All right, let me see here. Really dark here. Let me put some gray in here on her ear. It's a little too bright. I'll put some flesh color there too, but I'm going to kind of tone it down with this gray. Okay, same thing over here. I'm going to, because this ear kind of disappears, I'm going to add some gray to it. In a minute, I'll put a little bit more flesh color. And there's some hair here. Okay, now, I think I'll leave that for now. And I'm going to get the black and do in her mouth really black. Sharpen those teeth up. Well, not sharpen the teeth, but sharpen around the teeth. She doesn't have pointy teeth. That'll make the mouth really look good too. With that being extra dark there. Again, I could have done this with watercolor, but sometimes it's really hard to get really straight, sharp lines. And on portraits, it's kind of important. It doesn't really matter with scenes, but with portraits, you really do, like landscapes, you really do want some sharp lines. And watercolor, you can achieve it, but I'm really not to that point yet. Maybe someday, because I am practicing. Practice makes perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but it definitely makes it better. Okay. Okay, so that just made her teeth pop and make it look deeper in here. Deeper hole looking inside her mouth. Okay, looks really dark here. And dark here. Where her tongue is, the edge of her tongue. Really dark along the teeth there too. And there's kind of a line there. Let's make that a little bit darker. Okay, I'm a lot more pleased with her mouth, although I do want to add some shading under her lip. I did it with watercolor, but I don't think I achieved dark enough, so I'm gonna get a darker gray and go in there. Because there's really a shadow from her lips onto her teeth that I want to do. Okay, I'm pretty pleased with that. Now I'm gonna do a little bit more detail on her teeth. A little more gray, showing the molars, because the molars have some indentions, and it's good to kind of have that. Okay, and then we'll define that tooth a little sharper, a little more here. I did it with the watercolor, but it's nice to go back and make it a little bit darker so you really see, especially from the distance. You want to be able to see the things here, all the detail. Okay, now I'm going to kind of lightly shade the entire tooth here, because those are kind of in the back. Same thing with these. I don't want them sharp white. Sharp, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't want them stark white. I want them a little bit shadowy. All right. I think I need a pink or dark pink down here, but I didn't pull that out. Or maybe I did. This is fleshy color, but it might work. I want it darker here. Yeah, this color will do. This is kind of like underneath her lip. It needs to be more pink. Actually, I think I will need a darker pink, but this will be okay for now. This is just kind of under her lip. Kind of pink there. All right, let's see now. That's pink there on that side. A little bit of pink in the teeth just because of the shadow from her pink tongue and everything kind of reflects onto her teeth. All right, now let's see. This is kind of a flesh pink. I'm going to put a little bit of color up here to define her face. And let me see what time it is. It's 3:05. So it's 3:05. My husband's exercising, walking around the circle. So he likes to know how long he's walked. It's too cold to be outside, so he walks inside. That's about where the makeup stopped right there. I kind of like that line. It shows that she's not really has white skin. I'm going to add some flesh color over here too on her ear. They were a little too gray, and they didn't have makeup on them. So we'll add a little bit of flesh color here. Okay, that looks better to me. Now, I'm also gonna do more skin color here, so it looks kind of too washed out. Right now I'm doing this layer, but I'm going to do some other layers on top of it to really make it look like real skin. I'm just doing kind of a light coating of this. Oh, I didn't say what color this was. This is called Nectar. This is another Prismacolor, and it's Nectar. Nectar's kind of flesh, but it's also kind of pink. I have different flesh tones I use, and they would all work, but this one is what I happened to see first, and I thought, why not? And if you're buying pencils, probably if you just buy a set with a variety, you don't have to use the exact ones I do. I mean, I like to do that when I'm learning, but know that you can get some that just look a little different, as long as you get the techniques and the blending down. Doesn't matter the exact color you use. All right, now it looks like there's some like gray shadows, but it's also kind of brown. So I think I'm going to go with this darker brown. Hopefully this isn't too dark. This is the Polychromo, and it's called Walnut Brown. So I'm going to just do a little bit of this down here. I might add gray, but I might just leave it at this. We'll see how dark I can get this. I don't really want it too dark, because her skin doesn't look too dark there. Just a little, and looks like the shadow kind of comes over here. Yeah, I might not use gray. I'll probably just use this brown. You can see I'm just kind of lightly coloring it. I don't want it real obvious. It's a bunch of lines. Okay, I'm going to fix the ear. I'm not real happy with the ear over here. I think this needs to be hair coming down. And it needs to be a lot darker here. Again, I'm using this walnut. And her ear is more roundish shaped, so there's darkness back behind it. And the line is a little bit round here. And this just fades. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just wasn't real pleased with the shape of that. Same thing with this. This looks a little bit off. I'm going to touch up that a little bit. And in here, it's a little bit darker. Now I notice this is a little darker here. I don't know if it's just a shadow or if it's just smudgy from the makeup. But it looks a little darker right there. So I'm going to put a little brown there. Continue it up. Also, it looks like she's got a little freckle. I'm going to put that in. It's right there. Okay. Okay, I'm happier with that. Now, I'm going to go back to her eyes and use the black. So that's what I used earlier. I'm going to do really dark on her pupil. Make it nice and round. And then it's really dark here. Really dark over here. I didn't do it too dark earlier with the watercolor. So now I'm going to go back. That just makes it really pop. Okay, now her eyelashes are really black too. So I'm going to go back with that. Do some really dark there. Make it a little bit thicker there. And also this line here where her eyelid creases, it's very black. So I'm going to go with that. Make it really dark. Okay, I like the way that looks. I don't see eyelashes there, but I'm going to add a few. I know she has it. I think it just didn't turn out very well with the... Well, that was really, okay. Okay. right, now I'm going to do the same thing on this eye. So it balances out. I'm going to do a little bit darker here and a lot darker here where her eyelashes are. Make them just as black as they can be. And then above it is really black too. The more contrast you have in your painting, the better it looks. Even if it doesn't look like the photo, it'll improve the photo. Because it just makes it look really pops out. You do a little bit of line here on that reflection. You do a little bit of line above that reflection too. Okay. Bring this down a little bit darker here. A little bit of shadow under that reflection. A little bit of shadow under that reflection. Earlier we had put the masking film on the pupils. Well, unfortunately I didn't record it, but you just kind of scrape them off. So it leaves it that white. So I scraped that off. Okay, the nostrils, I'm going to add some black there because they should be pretty dark. They're much darker than everything else. All right, I'm going to put a little black here. Make that extra dark there. Make some dark here. I don't want it too dark, but I do want it darker. All right, I'm going to see what time it is for my husband. It is 3:13. What did I say, 3:05?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So you need 2 more minutes. He wants to get 10 minutes in, and he's doing really good. He's been improving every day. I'm just going to use black, just lightly darken a little bit here. Not too much. The gray was nice, but I'm just going to add a little darker. Same thing with this. I'm going to define the shape of that tooth a little more. Instead of a straight line, it kind of goes in where that tooth is, and that tooth. A little darker there. There. She didn't have black teeth, but I do want it a little bit outlined. Okay. Let's see, let's do some lashes on this side. I think the lashes are there. The camera just didn't pick it up. She has beautiful eyes. They all have beautiful eyes. I have 5 granddaughters, and their eyes are just so spectacular. They look like their mothers. Okay. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. Now I'm going to get the, or am I happy? Maybe I'm not happy. I don't know if I'm happy or not. I think I'm going to go with the gray again, the light gray, and do some gray under her hair here, because there's a shadow. It's not real obvious, but it is there. And even if you don't see it in your photo, know that hair and different things will cast shadows. And of course her head is round, her face has curve, so we're going to put some gray there to cast shadows there. And let me look over here. I think I'm happy with that, although I'm going to bring this shadow all the way up. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot better. All right, now I want to smooth it out. So I'm going to pause it while I find my blending. Actually, I've changed my mind. Sorry. I keep seeing areas I want to darken. I want to add some gray here, because it's a little bit darker right here. If I had my watercolors out, I could have done this with watercolor, but in the long run, it'll all look kind of the same here. And since they're here, I'm going to use these. Okay. All All right, that shaped her face up a bit more. I think I might leave the rest of that super white. All right, now I'm going to pause it and get my blending pencil to just tie in all of that. And then we'll do a little bit more detail on the hair. So let me pause this. All right, so now I've got my blending pencil. It is a Prismacolor, and it says colorless. And what it is just a clear wax. So what you do with that is, I'm going to do the lighter areas first. You kind of do little circles on that, and what that does is it just kind of smudges it, makes it more like it's blended together here on the paper. And it looks more like a watercolor, like what we're wanting, than pencils. And we still want this to have a watercolor look. So I don't know if you can tell if that's showing up or not, but it just made it look smooth on her face. There's not exactly lines. And I'm going to do this. This is going to blend the light and the dark gray together for kind of more of a uniform look. Same thing with this. I'm starting where it's dark and slowly working my way up where it was lighter. And I'm doing little tiny circles here. And there's gray all the way up here, so I'm going to blend that. Same thing on this. I'm going to start where it's dark and slowly. And I'm putting a lot of pressure, by the way. I'm really mashing hard because I'm just making these wax colors all smudged together. It was kind of exciting when I discovered that there was blending pencils for wax pencils, because usually when I use graphite, you don't need that because you have the little blending stumps. But I love color. Color's so fun. You can do so much with color. So it was really kind of exciting when I discovered that there's a way to blend these together. Really, really exciting. Okay, kind of opened up a new world of drawing for me. This is, I can tell, is a lot darker than the photo, but I kind of like it. It makes it look really like she's a zombie. And I'm not really just trying to make it look exactly like the photo. I wanted a really nice painting. And that really makes her eye pop. Bam. There she is. There's the zombie. There's Neela Zombie right there. I like that. Okay, I'm trying to be a little careful here. Okay, again, I'm going to do the dark. Let's kind of work my way up to the lighter area. You know, you can tell it's looking darker, but it also is making it smoother, so it doesn't look like a crayon, like I just have a lot of crayon under there. And like I said, it is definitely darker, I can tell, than the photo. But hey, it's better than the photo now. If I wanted it lighter, I could go back with some lighter colored pencils over it, like even white, but I'm liking this. I'm going to leave it. But wax pencils are pretty unforgiving. Sometimes even white pencils don't help you. So once you've gotten it dark, you that's it. So you do have to be careful. But I wasn't too worried about this area. Okay, now I'm going to blend this in. Makes it a little darker, but it also makes it softer. I'm trying to remember everywhere I had pencil. I know I said this before, but I'm really putting a lot of pressure down. In fact, my hand is cramping just ever so slightly. It's also mashing the paper down, which is okay. Again, this is a bit darker than what her face is, but that's okay. Just makes it more dramatic Although I don't think I want it really dark under there. I might put some lighter color on that before I blend that. I don't want her nose to look too black. I'm okay with this because it'll just make it stand out more, especially in a distance. It'll really kind of pop. Okay. I know I say it'll make it pop a lot, but that's really a good thing. It just makes the light show up more and the contrast being real high. I'm just going to continue doing this. Make it smooth everywhere. Smooth it out. Okay, now I'm under her eye was a little dark. Actually, I'll go ahead and blend some of that in, because that is okay to be dark there. But I think I was getting that a little too dark, so what I'm doing here, I'm getting a lighter gray, and going to put some lighter gray over it. I do want a shadow there. I just don't want it really dark. So hopefully this lighter gray will make it not quite as dark. Yeah, that looks pretty dark, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do now, maybe, like I had mentioned earlier, you can sometimes get white. Oh, wait, where's my white? Here's white. Or is that cream? That's cream. I don't want cream, I want white. Here's white. Okay, Prismacolor white, Blanc. So, I'm just gonna kind of go over some of this. It'll still look gray, but it'll look lighter gray. Kind of a lighter gray going on. They didn't quite want it that dark under her eye. And this also makes it really smooth looking too, which is nice. In fact, I might do that on all of this. This got a little bit dark, so I'm gonna go white over it. That'll just kind of lighten that up. And it's kind of a gray color, but that's okay because her face is gray. Sometimes you don't want that gray, muddy, bluey gray look. But for this purpose, for this painting, it's okay. In fact, it almost looks like it's kind of like watercolor. I'm just coloring over that and going all the way up so there's not a distinct line of where I ended. Okay, so that lightened that up. Although I'm going to keep it dark where her eyes are, because clearly on the picture it's a whole lot darker under her eyes. Okay, what else did I need to do? I don't know that I smoothed this out, so I'm going to smooth her ears out. I don't think I did that. Again, that's nice because it makes it look like watercolor. And I'm going to smooth up here where I did the face. Her skin, her real skin. Okay, that made it a lot more pink than here, but I like that because it's really distinct that that's her skin and that's her makeup. Okay, now I'm going to do her neck area. I'm doing little circles. I'm starting up where it was lighter and working my way down. And it's okay if you see some lines. I can tell there's lines here from the dark brown. But it is a drawing, so I'm not trying to make it look like a photograph. This made it more of a fleshy looking too. I like that. All right, I'm going to blend in here and her tongue with the black. I didn't blend in that black earlier, and I'm going to now. Okay, I'm gonna, the tip of my pencil got real dirty, and so I'm gonna clean it over here on that side. I'm gonna smoothen the gray here. Oh, I don't know if I said, but I've got the clearless one, the colorless one again. Not white. I don't want white on this. I want the colorless. Okay, did I do the chin? I don't think I did the chin. Let's clean that chin up. Oh, maybe I did. Well, it's not going to hurt to do it again. Okay, what have I got left here? I think I'm happy with all that. I didn't do the black, but sometimes you don't have to blend black. Black is black. All right. Let me pause it for a second.